Good day, Shabbos, everyone. Parshas Achari-Kedoshim, and another Shabbos in the month of Iyar and Yashem Rifa'echa. So, a beautiful idea that Rebbe spoke about in the Sikha we learned today in Tafshin and Aleph. We know that Parshas Kedoshim starts off with the mitzvahs of Kedoshim Tiyu, that you should be holy, and it's brought down that the idea of Kedusha. What does the word Kedusha mean? Kedusha means separate, muvdal, you're separate. And what does it mean to be separate? So if we're talking about that Bnei Yisrael are separate with our avoid of Torah mitzvahs in our service of Hashem through Torah mitzvahs, that's not a pasuk. The Torah was only given to the Jewish people. So from this we learn that the idea of Kedusha in this pasuk means Kadish atzmecha b'mutilach, to separate yourself in the permissible. The permissible in the things of the world, that seemingly Bnei Yisrael, everyone's equal. The Torah tells a person, Kadesh atzcha b'mutilach, sanctify yourself, separate yourself, elevate yourself with even the permissible. And in this line, the Rebbe talks about in 1991. He starts continuing the talk about Geula, about redemption. The Rebbe introduces the concept that we know that the name Geula, which means redemption, make up the same words as the word Goyla, exile. The only difference is the Aleph. The Aleph that represents the Aleph of Anochi, the Aleph of Hashem, that when you take all the components, the muterlach, all the worldly things, and you separate it, you elevate it, you integrate the Aleph, you show, you reveal, get rid of all the concealment, then what we see is that when we find from within the Goyla, within the exile, we find redemption. And that's the whole idea of what redemption is. That's why the word redemption is the word geula. Because we're not running from point A to point B. If we live our whole life, and 2,000 years of exile was just that we're doing time until we could get to the Binyan Beis HaMikdash, until Mashiach comes and redeems us. So basically we're saying that as if all this time has just been until we're getting to the geula. But if we're actually revealing within the Golus the redemption, we're just bringing an Aleph into everything of our life, from the most mundane to the most spiritual experience. We're revealing the godliness of every experience. Then that's that's the whole purpose of Golus, and that's how we walk out of the mindset of Golus, of exile, into the mindset and to the reality of redemption. The Rebbe always said, open your eyes. If you just open your eyes, you would see that what's happening here is really redemption. And we live in a time now where there's so much energy going on. There's so much happenings. Like my brother-in-law says, the world is tracing, the world is rumbling with all the rhetoric and the conversations and the arguments and the extremes. But what the common idea is that people are looking, people are searching, and we just introduced the Aleph of Hashem, of Torah mitzvahs, into our lives, into every part of our life, even the muterlach, even the permissible. We elevate it, we bring it to holiness. Then that's what redemption is. And the Rebbe finishes off with an amazing word. He brings down from this week's Pirkei Avos that it starts off, Histakel b'shalish dvarim ve'inat tabal l'dei avera. A person should concentrate on three ideas, and that would help a person avoid doing an avera. And then the Mishnah goes on to list, know where you come from, know where you're going, and know from who you're going to have to give accounting to, and then you'll stay away from doing averas. And the Rebbe challenges the Mishnah, why does it say, look at three things you won't come to avera? Anyone who learns the Mishnah should say, if you want to avoid averas, know where you're coming from, know where you're going, and know who you're going to have to answer to. And we know that there's three things that will keep a person away from doing an avera. Why does the Mishnah have to start off saying, Histakel b'shalish dvarim, look at three things? The Rebbe gives an amazing answer. Well, a lot of times a person in life, we look at everything as there's my life, there's me and the Eibishter, and I have to serve Hashem, and there's this whole world outside that's separate from me. There's this Golus, there's this whole exile that's separate. You want to really stay away from avera, you want to really have focus, you want to really know what your purpose in life is, understand that there's three things here. There's you, the world, God, and the world. And the reason why there's the world and every single challenge within it, every single obstacle that we face, is because the Eibishter wants us to make a dir b'tachtonim, a resting place for Him in this world. And when we see it in a three-dimension, then every single experience, every time we have a challenge, every time we have an urge, every time we have something that we battle with, and we see this as being part of the shalosh, part of the three things that Hashem is giving us now an opportunity to again sanctify Him in the moment that we're being challenged with, then you'll never come to Aveira. You'll always have the focus, realizing and understanding how every experience in your life is part of making a Dir B'Tachton. I want to wish everyone a good Shabbos, which Taka B'Zoichet to the Gula Mitzvah Shlema, the true redemption. That we're going to take the Aleph and reveal it in everything, and everyone, all peoples, like we finish off the Rambam this week, we'll talk B'Safa Achas in one wording and one rhetoric, and praising Hashem and acknowledging Hashem with the Gula Mitzvah Shlema. Good Shabbos, everyone.